The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, January 15th. We're your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. I'm joined by my co-host and newly found hipster, Tony Sanfilippo. Tony, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, everybody. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm already worn out, and I've only been back at it for 3 days, man. These overnights, they suck!
They're
I ain't
killer.
gonna sugarcoat it. They suck.
Well,
You can't fall asleep till like 3 in the morning. It just sucks. What do you do, though?
The good news
Pay
is
the bills.
it's Friday for our show, so you get to sleep in a little bit tomorrow, and then you get Sunday off from work. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, tomorrow's weird. I can sleep in a lot. I have to find a way to sleep all day tomorrow. My shift tomorrow, I work 9:30 p.m. till like 7 a.m. into Sunday. So, yeah, it's gonna be a suck balls weekend. Yeah, that's right. I said it.
Oh,
My weekend's gonna suck
how dare
balls.
you.
I hope everybody else is ready for a fun weekend, but mine is gonna take a pair of hairy testes to the face.
Well, speaking of which,
I hope your kids are not watching this early.
let's go ahead and kick things off the way we do each and every day with a question for my co-host. Tony, if you were a teacher, and obviously most kids are doing online learning right now, what is the worst thing you could send out as a homework assignment?
What do mommy and daddy do behind closed doors? I don't know.
They play a lot of poker.
There's a lot of stuff you could do, but I think anything that's going to be controversial or political, probably don't want to do anything like that.
Well, a teacher's online lesson went wrong after mistakenly sending an indecent and disturbing video to young children about incest and sex for home learning. The teacher apologized to pupils and parents for the genuine mistake, but moms and dads were left angry by the blunder. Pupils aged between 9 and 11 at Ing's Primary School, that's elementary school for us in the U.S., in Hull were sent video with both incest and vile sexual references. The teacher had intended to send the children a clip of famous children's author Michael Rosen performing The Car Trip for their poetry work, but accidentally sent a rude parody version instead. Following complaints from angry parents, the educator who uploaded the clip to Google Classroom to help with their home learning while schools are shut apologized for the genuine mistake. They said, "I'm really sorry I put the wrong poetry clip in." One dad, who asked not to be named, blasted the blundering teacher. He said teachers need to check what they're setting kids and not just being lazy and posting random links that they haven't verified. "I've heard it is the first time I was working and she was sat next to me and was struggling to answer the questions. So I had to listen to the poem properly and realize something was severely wrong with what she was listening to and turn the video off. I ended up having to find the correct version of the poem on Google as I couldn't believe what I had heard and didn't want my daughter to listen to such filth again." Children were left confused over the video, which also included graphic reference to sexual acts and child abuse. Rosen is a hugely popular children's author and poet who has written 140 books. Kath Rowe, the school's head teacher, said the poem was uploaded in error and we've apologized for the genuine mistake. We'd like to thank the parent who got in touch with us immediately after noticing the error. Yeah, verify what you're sending out. Obviously, don't send something without knowing for sure what it is, because there is a lot of parody and there's a lot of smut, for lack of a better term.
Oh yeah, even though I don't always read the articles I cover on our show, I definitely glance through them first. I don't just share stuff on our page and just post. Not that it's going to really affect us, but those things you just want to make sure that there's not like, in our case, we have young people that listen to our show. You want to make sure there's nothing bad, but especially if you're a teacher, you really got to be careful. Like you got to cross your T's and dot your I's. You just don't do stuff like that.
Yeah, we try to keep things about as PG-13 as we can on the show. Obviously, if you're an elementary school teacher, you got to keep it hard PG or G. But I'm surprised there's been no disciplinary action against him. He hasn't been fired. He hasn't been suspended. If it was here in the U.S., you can bet your sweet ass that would have happened.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things. It's, even though it was an honest mistake, so they say, but like, why wouldn't you, if you're going to do the homework, like at least not proofread it and know what the heck you're going to give to the students to do your homework? I mean, you're the one that's going to be grading it, make sure they're doing it, right?
Sounds about right to me. Well, folks, we have a wonderful show lined up for you today. It's a little bit of a redo from yesterday's technical difficulties, but let's talk about today's show, shall we?
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
And we're looking forward to the weekend, but not before we bring you guys good news, everyone. We have a segment called Mawiage. Our call-in topic today is Ingenious Life Hacks. We have G-Man's matchups, checking out NFL Divisional playoffs. In fact, we've got a supersized segment with him, actually 2 segments. We close out the day with This Day in History, and Tony is up next with the entertainment news. Folks, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at fenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, January 15th. Now we have a little thing called the Fenix Line. It is our 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. Maybe you accidentally sent porn or something rude to your students. We want to hear about it. Give us a call at 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RDO or 855-336-4973. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together, put them out in a future show. Now it is the second segment of this show, and Tony's here with the entertainment news.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, January 15th, and this year Filippo Fast 5. Siegfried, the other half of Siegfried and Roy, his last name is Fischbacher, half of the team has passed away at the age of 81. He passed away Wednesday evening, so always sucky. Now there's no Siegfried nor Roy. Chris Evans is reportedly in talks to reprise his role as Captain America in the MCU. Though nothing is confirmed, and he just left the very coy, "That's news to me," with a shrug emoji. It's always like, oh, it got out. I don't know what you're talking about. So, Dustin Diamond, best known for his role as Screech in the original run of Saved by the Bell, was hospitalized over the weekend. The 44-year-old actor has officially been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
Didn't say what kind of cancer, but Screech has cancer, so wish him the best. It always sucks to hear anybody has cancer. It's awful. Foot Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers will be a guest host on Jeopardy this season.
Just call them the Foot Packers?
What's that?
Did you just call them the Foot Packers?
No. I said I was going to say football news, but the Packers.
I know.
Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers, yeah. Okay.
Jeopardy.
Broncos hire George Patton as the new general manager. Jacksonville Jaguars hire Urban Meyer as their head coach. New York Jets hired Robert Saleh. I hopefully said that right.
Saleh.
As their new head coach. And Atlanta Falcons offer head coaching job to Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. So there's kind of a jumble of football head coaching vacancies filled there for the Filippo Fast 5. And not really much in the way of entertainment today, but here we roll. As I got to kind of report, if you watched yesterday, some of these stories might be similar. But I had a different one.
A little bit of deja vu.
Kristian, this is the same stuff kind of for Kristian yesterday, or a few listeners. So,
yeah, that's all right.
I'm going to combine this all into just one story versus 3 individual stories, but we're going to talk Disney. So Disneyland has got a lot going on right now. Obviously, with COVID being shut down, they have decided to end annual pass holder program, and all annual passes are canceled. Well, that makes sense considering they're not open. There is no expected ETA of when they're going to bring it or if they will bring it back, but any annual pass holders who had active passes as of March 14th, 2020 will still receive discounts on merchandise, food, and beverages at open locations in downtown Disney on District and Buena Vista Street. Annual pass holders receiving a refund will get separate confirmation email. Guests who have their premier passport with access to both Disneyland and Walt Disney World will receive a refund for the Disneyland portion as it's now discontinued. So kind of huge there. I mean, kind of a little worrisome for the world of Disneyland as it will be reopening, but not quite how you'd imagine, as it's going to become a COVID-19 vaccine super site and that'll be starting in the next week. That'll start with residents in that area will be phase 1A, and they can get their that's residents 75 and older will be able to come get their vaccination at Disneyland. So kind of a bummer that the happiest place on earth is not quite. And it's crazy because Walt Disney World is thriving and being successful. So
yeah, it's strange from coast to coast, the difference between what's happening at Disneyland, but it'll be a strange thing to walk around actual Disneyland, being a COVID site, and the fact that, they don't have the annual pass holders anymore. There's a couple restaurants and businesses that are open within there, but that's really about it. I can only imagine how odd it would be.
Yeah, it got to be strange. Now, I'm not even sure. It doesn't say anything about this, but you almost wonder if they this is the time to start doing the transition from Splash Mountain to whatever the heck they're turning that into, and renovate some of those rides. Like, can we make the Matterhorn less rickety and less hard on your back? Like, can we find a way to smooth that out?
They actually
Great
have.
ride, but it hurts.
They have over the last few years, and even now it's not as good as it could be, but it's a huge difference. I can actually go on it now. Before,
All right.
my back would be wrecked.
That thing hurts your back. It's really rickety. If you're in Walt Disney World, the only big changes for that side of the world is the Magical Express will be ending. And that what the Magical Express was the shuttle service that picked you up at the airport. You included it in your package, would take you to your Disney hotel. So you didn't have to worry about trying to get a ride to Disney, but now they're leaning more on Uber and Lyft and any ride-sharing service to take you from the airport to the park. They said it'll be more faster and efficient, which I disagree with. Like, it is helpful, but a lot of people don't speak English down there, and you end up in some crazy Uber drivers. Like, everyone drives like it's a damn racetrack down Disney World. It's nuts. So, I mean, I took a Uber when I was there last from the Magic Kingdom. We stayed at Bay Lake Tower and tried to get over to Disney Hollywood Studios. And I tell you, it took about 30 minutes. And that's not a 30-minute jump between the two. But with Mr. Uber guy getting lost and everything, it was a nightmare. So, bummer that the Magical Express, however, doesn't exist anymore. The company that runs Magical Express, you'll be able to still pay for a bus ride from the airport there, but it's just not included anymore.
Disappointed!
Yeah, if I lived down there, I'd start a rickshaw company.
Yeah. Oh, that would be sweet.
Just a little pedal bike.
Hat on there. Yeah.
There you go.
Just start running around. That'd be good for you. Healthy for you getting the exercise. But
right.
That'd be a little rough. And sticking in the world of theme parks and craziness, Super Nintendo World is opening their delay due to the Osaka state of emergency. The theme park was meant to open next month, and we were able to see some of the cool things. They gave like little tours of what it looks like. It's finished, it's ready to go, but because the countermeasures aren't as strong as the COVID-19 lockdown, but people are still discouraged from making non-essential trips outside. So they're having some more outbreaks out there. Hopefully later this year, it'll be opened. I can't wait for the ones here in the States. Super Nintendo World looks definitely cool. The Mario Kart ride in particular looks very awesome.
Did you watch the walkthrough video?
Mm-hmm.
It was
crazy. They had Mario's creator show you everything.
Yeah, it was crazy because you look at it, and of course, they start like way panned out, and then they move in, and it looked like basically the game. I mean, it was they did it so well that it wasn't until they were right up close that you realize that these are actual like practical blocks and backgrounds and scenery and pipes, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, and they said something too, like everything's got interactions. Like you could hit certain blocks and you could play, kind of like they have like at their Harry Potter attraction. If you get the wand, then there's certain things you can do to trick things around the park. Yeah, well, around that section of the park. And Mario's going to be the same way. So I think that's pretty damn cool. Great time. Well, it's not a great time, but when everything gets back and running, great time to be alive to go do these things. Never thought you'd see them as kids, right?
Exactly. No, it's exciting, and the Mario Kart ride, like you said, looks like a lot of fun.
It just looks so fun. Speaking of fun, I bring this up because I know you're in particular excited about these things, as is our buddy Mike. He really wants to get one of these things, and I'm talking Arcade 1-Up. Right now, the Consumer Electronics Show 2021 is underway, and Arcade 1-Up, of course, has unslated a new slew of cabinets. They'll be releasing such classics as the X-Men Arcade, which is a 4-player cabinet, which I know you're very excited about, Dragon's Lair, Killer Instinct, and more. The classic arcade game will feature 4-player action and will be packed with another Marvel beat-em-up, Captain America and the Avengers, which was a fun game, as well as the rare fighting game, Avengers and Galactic Storm. Never heard of that one.
Never played it.
Never played it, never heard of it. The Killer Instinct cabinet will include both the first and second arcade games, as well as the Battletoads Arcade and Battletoads Double Dragon. Dragon's Lair will include both the first and second games, as well as the spiritual sequel, Space Ace. All Don Bluth games. Insanely tough. I don't know how far you're going to get playing those. So those will be available. You have to go to the Arcade 1-Up, because as we found out, they're hard. They've released Marvel vs. Capcom, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and you cannot find those anywhere.
Yeah, they do
They're always sold out.
Yeah, limited runs, and when they're sold out, they're basically sold out. There's a few that they're looking at doing re-releases on, but for the most part, unless you get it in its first run, you're SOL.
Yeah, and in this article, it doesn't say it too, but they have the Legacy editions coming out, and we looked at the Street Fighter 2 one, which had something like 12 games. It had all the Street Fighter versions of Street Fighter 2, Strider, Ghost and Goblins, and all kinds of different games, which is, what we talked about, more bang for your buck.
Exactly.
And then lastly, I guess that's, let's just roll into birthdays, because the time is now 8:27.
The time's a ticking.
Time's a ticking, baby. Oh, yeah, birthday kids. He was an elf, a pirate, a musketeer, and now he's married to Katy Perry. Mr. Orlando Bloom is 44. Actress and comedian who gained recognition on Saturday Night Live, a crazy dance on an annoying show with an annoying bass line. Okay, the show wasn't that annoying. It was kind of funny for its time. Came back on her own CBS series, The New Adventures of Old Christine. Never saw him. And now you can find her as Selena Meyer on HBO's Veep. That's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's 60. And I'll keep this one short. He's the funniest Broncos fan. Brad Williams. He's 37. He's a fun guy. From teen spirit to lithium, his life has been everlong. It's times like these when life throws you a monkey wrench. Run, walk, and learn to fly. Mr. Dave Grohl is 52. This little fox was a commentator for the Ocho. Hey, Cotton. He had horrible bosses. He dealt with identity theft that caused him to go to the Ozarks and learn some bad words. Mr. Jason Bateman is 52. Names are hard for me today.
Right?
Jeez Louise. This heavyweight champ battled Rocky, a Gator, Predator, and a Mandalorian. Mr. Carl Weathers is 73. This guy carried some big wood to the ring, and he called people hoes. Hey, tough guy. Jim Duggan is 67. And this one right here, this star quarterback was traded by the San Diego Chargers, and they've regretted it ever since, as he went down to New Orleans, and he's been playing ever since, and he'll be he's still in the playoffs, still alive. Mr. Drew Brees is 42.
Wow.
And lastly, a talented jack of all trades has been credited as an action choreographer, stunt performer, kickboxer, and he starred in Christian's favorite movie, Surf Ninjas. Okay, and 1991 version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Ernie Reyes Jr. still looks super young, and he's 49.
Wow.
Happy birthday. I only added him in just because the Ninja Turtle tie-in. Why not?
Can't blame you. Well, folks, that does it for the entertainment news. When we come back, it is Friday, and we've got good news, everyone. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Indeed. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, January 15th. Now, we are all over social media with many of you watching us as we speak on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Now, I can be reached at Facebook at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Fenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R, or on Twitter and Instagram at Fenix Media Radio. Tony's available at facebook.com/Tony.Sanfilippo. That's SANFILIPPO.94, or on Instagram at Tony.Sanfilippo81. Now, it is Friday, and as we like to do on Friday is take you into the weekend on an up note. Obviously, there's so much negative news out there. There's so much just sad things going on in the world that, you know what, we like to take you guys through a segment we call
Good News, everyone!
You know, just lift your spirits a little bit. All right, this one comes from Rochester, New York. Lou Baratti of Greece, New York, still can't believe his luck. Baratti, 69, had been living with end-stage kidney failure around 2 years when last month a kidney donated by a lifelong friend was finally transferred to his body. Sylvia Bianchi Nicholson, 68, answered more than a call for help. She saved a longtime friend. She's more than an angel, he said. I can't even describe what I feel for her and this gift. She's given me my life back. Now, weeks after the life-changing surgery, Baratti said he's on the mend. He's still recovering, and it isn't permitted to lift more than 10 pounds at a time, but he said he is faring well and should be fully recuperated. While most people consider the donation a gift for Barati, Nicholson considers it among the best experience of her life. Unless someone is personally facing a significant medical issue that requires organ donation, they rarely think about becoming a living donor, Nicholson said. Nor did I. Having gone through this has opened my eyes and just wish live organ donation would become more popular. You get 2 kidneys and you only need 1, Nicholson said. Why keep 2 if you can help someone? Nicholson and Barati knew one another for more than 6 decades. As children, the two were Holy Communion partners at St. Francis of Assisi Church and both attended the Holy Family School and Bishop Kearney High School. Then we lost touch. Everybody got married and had kids, Nicholson said, but the pair reconnected about a decade ago when they helped coordinate a grammar school reunion. About 15 or so of the former classmates, including Barati and Nicholson, continued to gather several times annually. Last June, after several failed attempts at matching Barati with a living donor, his daughter shared details about Barati's medical challenges on Facebook. In short, she asked friends, family, and strangers to consider becoming a living donor. The post was shared more than 400 times. Nicholson had her identical twin sister Cynthia Bianchi saw the post almost simultaneously. Knowing their blood type was compatible with Barati's, the duo knew either twin could potentially help. Nicholson had called kidney transplant at the University of Rochester Medical Center and started the donation match process. After numerous physical and psychological tests, Nicholson learned she and Barati matched with a predicted 99% success rate, and she was approved to serve as her friend's kidney donor. I have an ace in the hole in that I have an identical twin sister, Nicholson said. God forbid I ever have anything that I need a kidney. She's a perfect match, period. Barati, a diabetic for more than 30 years, said his kidneys failed several years ago, and he's been on kidney donor lists for 4 years. He was on dialysis for more than a year before the transfer surgery. Initially, he said he underwent dialysis at home while he slept, but for the last few months before the surgery, he went to Unity St. Mary's campus for 4-hour sessions 3 times each week to receive the life-saving treatment. The pair's transfer surgery was initially scheduled for March 2020, but was canceled due to the pandemic. A second attempt for the surgery also failed. Scheduled for June, the transfer was again delayed because Barati needed open heart surgery and 5 bypasses, a major operation that took place in May. His doctor required he take a full 6 months to recover. The transfer surgery ultimately went forward on the 3rd try in November on the 10th. And it's wonderful that, 2 lifelong friends could help each other out. Tony, if you ever needed a kidney, I'd give you one of mine.
Thanks, brother. I would do the same for you, too. So,
but
you're in good shape, man.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to hear. Obviously, they're a little bit older, health is failing, but anytime somebody can help somebody else out, it's definitely awe-inspiring. And that is my...
Good news, everyone!
What do you got for us, Tone?
Well, before I actually get into good news, some good news is I forgot to mention in the entertainment news that WandaVision is out today. There's 1 and 2.
That qualifies.
2 today.
Good news, everyone.
Yeah, you gotta have a little good news there. So if you're a Marvel fan, WandaVision out today. But kind of in the entertainment world still, but it is good news. You know how we always talk, like, if you win the lotto, I would take care of you. You always tell your friends, like, oh, cool, I'd take care of you if I had good fortunes.
Exactly.
Well, it's always cool to hear when people actually do that, like they were taken care of in the past. So there's a reason why Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gets called the most likable celebrity around. Not only is he funny, he has his own foundation that helps at-risk and terminally ill children. Kindness just seems to be in this actor's bones. And for his latest act, he just gifted a brand new Ford F-150 to an old friend. So I'm going to just read his post here. I'll read what it says, then I'll read his actual post, because The Rock had a heartfelt message.
Nice.
But on New Year's Day, the 48-year-old Fast and the Furious star visited old friend Bruno Lauer. It's true that The Rock's initials greeting didn't sound all that friendly. Hey, you son of a gun, Dwayne yelled across the parking lot, but his tone was just in jest. Bruno took the actor in when he was homeless as a teen in Tennessee. 9 years later, after Johnson fell on hard times once again while trying to make a name as a wrestler, it was Bruno again who came to the rescue and said he could live in his Nashville trailer. So at the end here, this is what The Rock wrote in a nice post here. So it says, Merry Christmas, Bruno. Love you, brother. 100% crackhead free. My life, especially my teenage years, has been full of the wildest twists and turns, yet God and the universe had always found a way to put a few people in my path that would change the trajectory of the road I was going down. Here's one of my lifelong friends, Bruno Lauer, or as I call him, Downtown Bruno. My mom and I were evicted off the island of Hawaii, and I was sent to Nashville, Tennessee to live with my dad. When I landed in Nashville, I quickly found out I wasn't going to live with my dad. Shit happens, plans change, and that's the way it goes. Instead, I was told I was going to live with a guy named Bruno, who at the time I lived in a tiny room at a spot called Alamo Plaza Motel. Bruno could have said, hell no, I'm not taking it, and I'm not taking in some kid I don't know, but he didn't. He took this punk kid in, and we became lifelong friends. Then, ironically, about 9 years later, when I had the infamous $7 in my pocket, I started my wrestling career in Memphis, Tennessee, and again, no place to live. Bruno took me and let me shake up his trailer till I got on my feet. And hell, when I was 15, Bruno even gave me his last $40 so I could hustle a crackhead out of his car one night at a honky-tonk in Nashville. But the hustle was on me, because when I took off down the road, there was a second crackhead passed out on the floor in the back. Wild times as a 15-year-old. Merry Christmas, Bruno. And since you helped me buy my first car, I figured I could return the favor and buy you one that 100% does not have a crackhead in the back seat. I love you, brother. Your kindness and heart helped change my life's trajectory. And when you're ready to retire from the business, you just say the word. I got you covered. We'll go downtown. Enjoy your new ride and give Walls, Mississippi my love and gratitude. So real cool to just see that he pays it. You know, he went back and took care of somebody that took him in as a young man. So
yeah, and it's inspiring that he basically went from nothing to having just about everything, and he still remembers the people who helped him out along the way, which is really, really inspirational, and certainly qualifies as
good news, everyone.
Well, folks, that does it for this Friday edition of Good News, everyone. When we come back, we've got a segment called Mawiage. Don't go anywhere.
Mawiage.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. We are back. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, January 15th. Now, if you missed a portion of the show or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it is easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts, whether it's Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, about 20 in all. While you're there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review, let us know what you think, and tell your friends because sharing is caring. Now, speaking of sharing, obviously, marriage is a big thing for a lot of people. I'm engaged to be married, but practically am already. And so...
Did you say marriage?
I said marriage, like...
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
Marriage? My ex and I, the old wifey poo, we used to watch The Princess Bride, and that would always be the part where I would crack up, Mawiage, and that became a thing. We used to just randomly just bust that line out. So
I love
knew
it.
Exactly when you put that in what that was.
What it was. Well, in this case, we will be sharing some of the funniest marriage tweets. And, it is perfect for couples that, obviously love and adore one another, but maybe there's a few frustrations here and there. So let's go ahead and kick things.
Frustrations deserve some good laughs.
Let's go ahead and kick off with our first one.
Marriage.
From Twitter user Rodney LaCroix says, my wife didn't order anything from Amazon yesterday, so the UPS guy knocked on our door to see if we're okay.
Come and knock on my door.
I can definitely relate to that one. And Jesse is a serial Amazon orderer, and daily we've got boxes just showing up. Tony, when you were here, you even brought a few of them in for us.
I did. It's the UPS. I found out when I got back, the UPS man sees a lot of stuff on his deliveries.
Oh, I'm sure.
My UPS guy, he told me a story of he made a delivery over the holidays. And he walked up to the porch and he literally just walked and then dropped the package and ran because the husband was making Mawiage to his wife in front of the window.
Ooh, wow.
Awkward.
Yeah, at least he was decent enough to get out of there.
Yeah,
he didn't
just
linger.
Walked up and he's like, ooh.
He could have been a creepy UPS guy and just stared the whole time.
No, he took off. He told me he's got stories for days. So
awesome.
Confessions of a UPS man.
Let's move on with
marriage.
This from Twitter user Allers Adam. Of course, with the whole lockdown and, some of us being forced to cohabitate together, we've noticed strange things about our partners. This Twitter user says, quarantine week 3, my wife has started throwing baby showers for all of the birds nesting in our backyard. Please send help. And there's a picture of birds on top of one of those space heaters. And then right on the wall next to it is a bunch of little baby shower flags that, you would decorate a baby shower with. And hey, if you're bored, you're bored, I guess.
I was going to say there's a lot of procreating. A lot of procreating in lockdown.
Yeah, even with the birds.
And the birds and the bees and the bunnies.
Let's move on.
Mawiage.
This from Twitter user Slade Wentworth says, I miss how my wife would say, he's a Let's start that over again. Hold on.
He's a rescue ranger?
Wow.
Chip or Dale?
I miss how my wife would say, he's a rescue whenever I misbehaved at parties. You know, it's fun to embarrass your other a little bit, but, you know, have fun and poke just a tad.
Just a smidge, yeah. My ex did not feel that way. I usually just embarrassed the hell out of her.
Yeah. It's all right.
It usually was I did something wrong, and then I just would make it worse because I figured if you've already jumped off the cliff, what do you got to lose?
Let's move on with
Mawiage.
Mawiage.
This one I am definitely guilty of, being on the husband side of things. From Twitter user Simon Holland says, I have a cold and it's pretty bad, but my wife has a husband with a cold and apparently that's way worse. I don't get sick often, but when I do have a cold, I am sure I'm just insufferable. I don't want to move. I don't want to do anything for myself. It's not fun. And of course, poor Jesse has to put up with it.
Yeah. Hey, Jesse.
Here's another one that I can relate to.
Mawiage.
Twitter user Eli McCann says, for my second date with my husband, we met in New York City and went to a party and ended up at a McDonald's at 3 a.m., where he reached across the table, grabbed my hands, looked at me adoringly, and said, I hate this. I wanted to go to bed at 9. Do not expect this of me again.
Especially if you're going to McDonald's.
Well, and being up at 3 a.m. and going out, like, by 9 a.m., I'm good enough. Just sitting in, hanging out, turning something good on the TV, and going to bed because I'm not a party guy. Not at all. Maybe in my early days, but not now.
Not now. You just like to go home and chill. Netflix and chill.
Netflix and chill. Let's move on.
Mawiage.
This from Twitter user Batty McLean says, my wife asked me if she had any annoying habits and then got all offended during the PowerPoint presentation. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, what's up with that?
If you don't want to know, don't ask. It's always good to have open communication, obviously in a relationship, but you know, if you don't want somebody to point out your faults or annoying habits, maybe don't ask.
Yeah. You probably don't want to know, especially like you said, it is like an unwritten rule to kind of lovingly bust your significant other's chops.
Exactly.
Well, at least it's for the girls to do to the guys more so.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Mawiage.
This from Twitter user Ginger Hot Dish. I hope our relationship never gets to this point. She's on the phone with her mom. She says, what's your secret to 55 years of marriage? Mom says, we never hated each other on the same day. That doesn't sound healthy.
It's a fact. As my grandpa used to say, that's an uptown Saturday night factamundo.
But at the same time, if you're angry at each other on different days, that's not a relationship to live by. You know, yeah, people have fights. People get at it every once in a while. But for the most part, you know, keep it civil.
Keep it civil.
Speaking of keeping it civil.
Mawiage.
This from Twitter user Megatronic13. Ooh, I like that name.
Megatronic.
And usually, and Tony, you can relate to this one. During the commercial break, husband, silence. During the fight scene, husband, completely and utterly silent. Quiet dialogue scene, husband, so let me tell you about the history of rockets. Oh, nothing annoys me more than somebody talking throughout a movie or a TV show, especially one that I'm invested in, or at a movie theater. Holy crap. If you're talking during a movie, you got to get out of my 6-foot radius for sure.
I only laugh because we went to to Wonder Woman 84 when I was home, and our buddy Jimmy, he was very vocal during the movie. Oh, I had that date too at Civil War. How long is this movie? Is this movie over? And it's just like, oh.
Keep it to yourself.
We're great friends now, but man, like that date at the end, I was just like, shut up. Shocking.
And I was there. I remember.
I know.
All right, folks. You know what we are talking about?
Marriage.
Marriage.
Marriage is what brings us together today.
It
How
is what.
come, like, no wedding I've been to has used that? I think that would be just a great little intro, even if it's just a joke.
Hey, our wedding's coming up some point in the future. We haven't set a date yet, but
You should add that just as a random joke in there.
I'm not opposed to it. I think Jesse would be on board too. So this from Twitter user June July 12, and of course, you know, when you're with somebody long enough, you learn about those little annoyances, things to push their buttons. She says, my husband annoyed me last night, so I adjusted the toaster settings slightly this morning. You know, and again, it's those little things where, you know, especially for me, I've got some slightly OCD tendencies where things have to be just right and just in a certain order. And if they're not, it just sends me into a whole different direction. Of course, I take a deep breath, compose myself, and move on from there. Let's move on.
Marriage.
This from Twitter user Dude Bro Dad. My wife managed to open a jar of pickles herself, and I am now non-essential. And of course, I find myself in that position, opening jars and helping Jessie with tech support. If she figured either of those out, I would be inconsequential at this point.
Yeah, quite inconsequential.
And then finally in
Marriage.
This from Twitter user Mommy Al says, accidentally forgot to pat my husband's butt when he bent over today, and he spent the entire day thinking I was mad at him. Marriage is wild. And it is one of those things that, you go around and tap each other's butts or do things that even when strangers are around, you forget that the strangers are there. And, sure enough, it happens, and, you just got to laugh it off. It's all in good fun. But
squeeze.
But folks, that does it for the first hour of this episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. But don't fret, we still have a full second hour ahead with double the dose of G-Man and our call-in topic of ingenious life hacks. Enjoy the news, get some tea, take a potty break. We'll see you guys in about 7 minutes. You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/therightseat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, When Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. To explore our complete lineup, head over to phoenixmedia.us or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Joe Biden's unveiled a $1.9 trillion emergency relief package to tackle the coronavirus pandemic and its effects on the U.S. economy. He's calling it the American Rescue Plan, and it includes a direct payment of $1,400 for most Americans. Jagruti Dave reports from Washington.
Joe Biden says he has a two-step plan of rescue and recovery, with $400 billion directed towards fighting the pandemic and $350 billion to help state and local governments. He believes he can target both the physical and financial health of America.
The American Rescue Plan that will tackle the pandemic and get direct financial assistance and relief to Americans who need it the most.
The rescue plan includes fast-tracking vaccine distribution and lays the groundwork for most schools in the country to be safely reopened. To get it through Congress, however, Biden will have to gain bipartisan support, and he'll be dealing with a Republican Party and a Senate whose attention could very well be divided by a Senate trial following President Trump's historic second impeachment.
Germany is considering ratcheting up its coronavirus restrictions even further as the country's leaders say the current lockdown isn't doing enough to slow the spread of the disease. A raft of new measures are being considered, aimed primarily at keeping people inside the home and away from public spaces. Trent Murray reports from our bureau in Berlin.
With the national daily death toll now regularly topping 1,000, Chancellor Angela Merkel reportedly wants to significantly strengthen Germany's lockdown restrictions. In what's being described by some newspapers as a mega lockdown, measures under consideration reportedly include border checks, the mandatory use of special medical masks in certain places, and according to one newspaper, shutting down parts of the public transport network. The discussion is still largely speculative, but it is expected that Merkel will bring forward a meeting with state premiers to early next week, as the leaders look to chart the country's next steps in the battle against COVID-19.
The UK has now given nearly 3 million people their first dose of COVID-19 vaccines. Around 3.4 million doses have been administered in total. Portugal's entered a new lockdown until at least the 30th of January, and Hungary's Prime Minister is pressing for approval of a Chinese vaccine that no other EU country has yet accepted. North Korea has shown off a new type of ballistic missile at a military parade which it calls the world's most powerful weapon. The submarine-launched ballistic missile unveiling comes days ahead of Joe Biden's inauguration. At least 30 people have died after an Indonesian hospital collapsed in an earthquake on the island of Sulawesi. Rescuers have been searching the rubble for survivors after the quake, which also injured hundreds of people. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke. When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you? What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't? Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Welcome back, folks, to the second hour of the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, January 15th. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. Still joined by my co-host, Mr. Tony Sanfilippo. Nice hat, Tone.
Hey, I had to match. We have Grady coming in, talking NFL, had to slap on the Broncos hat, had to put tired emo Tony to bed. And here comes the energetic second hour, Tony. I'm pumped, I'm jacked up. I got caffeine, baby. All right, that was just a lot of energy and mustard. I haven't really drank my Zip Fizz, but I am on round 2 of my sweet, sweet tea, baby.
Sweet tea.
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Very good. So things are going to work a little bit different today. We've got a bit of a shortened, interactive portion of the show where we're going to be talking about ingenious life hacks, and then G-Man is going to be joining us for the next 2 segments to talk the NFL divisional playoffs. So with that being said, let's talk about this interactive topic today. Today is ingenious life hacks. Of course, we were supposed to do it yesterday. We had some technical issues, so we're doing it today in a slightly truncated version. And so, Tony, is there any life hack that comes to mind that you do to make your life that much easier?
Absolutely. Tie it with work mainly. You can use this for really anything. And I'm talking notes. It's using my note app in my phone, and not even just typing it. Like what I watched, I went to a recent meeting at our depot, and everyone's got the big yellow notepad legal papers, and they're writing down these notes. Well, they're just writing down the notes of the slides. So all I would do is take my phone, zoom in, open up the notes app, zoom in on the slide, take a picture, and guess what? I have all those notes and probably then some, all just there. I just have the pictures. So it's simple. If I need to reference it, I just open it up, done. And my handwriting sucks. You can attest to that.
Yep.
Anyone that works with me can attest to that. I should have been a doctor, but I'm not. But my handwriting is garbage. So it just saves a lot. And what's also good is you can utilize your notes app for things like donations. Like when I donated a bunch of stuff, instead of writing everything down, I took pictures of it. So when tax time came, it's like, well, what did you donate?
This, and this. Exactly.
Yeah. So your notes app on your phone, definitely a huge helpful thing in a lot of things. And you can use it for so much more, but since it's a shortened segment, that would be mine, sir.
I use my notes app all the time. In fact, I've got a daily to-do list that is constantly changing and morphing, but it's all based out of my notes app, and so it makes things that much easier. A life hack for me, I've mentioned that, I like to go to bed at a reasonable hour, but I have a tough time shutting my brain off. And so in order to do so, I can't just lay there and hope that I'll fall asleep because my mind will just wander and wander and wander. Even though they say it's not the best thing for you to do, I'll actually throw on YouTube, but nothing that is overly stimulating. I actually like watching restoration videos of people restoring like old toys or video game systems or tools or things like that. Or one of our favorite comic book artists, Jim Lee, who does, and he basically just draws and sketches, and it's not so stimulating that I don't find myself falling asleep within about 20 minutes or so. I'll shut it off, put my phone off to the side, and then I'm off to bed. Great way to turn my brain off. Now, with about 2.5 minutes left in this segment, I know we had a couple people who chimed in because we were supposed to do it yesterday. Tony, if you wouldn't mind sharing what they said.
You got it. Lacey, super friend Lacey, aka my Jarvis. She has one where she likes to yell for Bella that she has something she needs her to see. So when Bella comes to see what her mom calls her for, she just then asks her to get something for her. It's like her own little servant. It's like a good come hither.
Well, that's the whole reason to have kids.
Without saying, hey, can you get that for me? It's a nice little way to do this. And then my friend Jamie said, I have a life hack I use every winter. When you can't find your ice scraper, just use your credit card or ID to scrape the ice off your windshield. Sometimes it's a really quick lifesaver. So, and have a great show. Thanks, Jamie.
Well, thanks.
Very nice.
Along those lines, we get some very frosty winters around here. I've discovered that if I put together a spray bottle that's half alcohol, isopropyl alcohol,
okay,
and
I'm
half.
glad you said you did that half.
Yeah.
I was thinking Alf.
No. So half alcohol and half water, you mix it together and you just keep it handy. When you're ready in the morning, you just go out and spray your windshield down, and in a minute or so, it's defrosted. You can put your windshield wiper on, and sure enough, that's all you need. You don't have to scrape and freeze your ass off. It makes it that much easier.
Sucks, man. We got it, and we got more snow coming this weekend here, so yay.
Well, we haven't had a big snowfall here yet, so I can only imagine what February and
I was extremely happy being home and not dealing with snow, especially with all the driving I did there.
And then finally, with Ingenious life hacks, speaking of cold and frosty, here's a great one that if say you picked up a case of sodas or beer or whatever it is, and it's room temperature, it's not quite cold yet, and you want to cool it down really fast, well, instead of sticking it in the freezer or sticking it in the fridge and just waiting, wrap a wet paper towel around it, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the freezer, and in about 15 minutes, it's almost ice cold. So, for our beer fans out there, that's something to keep in mind. Boy, Tony, that segment went quick, but when we come back, we've got the G-Man joining us, talking the NFL Divisional playoffs over 2 segments, so don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message. Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, January 15th. Now, obviously, this is normally the time where we've got the interactive portion of the show, but as you can see on your video screen, we've got G-Man who's joining us. Looks like he's working through some audio issues, but in the meantime, we wanted
G-Man, baby!
We wanted to remind you about the Fenix Line. The Fenix Line is our 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. In fact, it is how we do our interactive portion, and so we invite you to call in on whatever the topic of the day is. While today was Ingenious Life Hacks, Monday is going to be a segment that we've done previously, only with TV shows, what we're calling How It Should Have Ended movies. So maybe there's a movie that you really liked, but the ending was, it just didn't quite satisfy you. Well, you know what? You can give us your opinion on how you think that should have ended. To do so, give us a call on the Fenix Line at 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RDIO or 855-336-4973 for the alphanumerically impaired. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together, put them out in a future show. Now, something we love on Fridays is talking football with G-Man. Of course, we're headed into the divisional round, but, you know, I've always got that one question. Are you ready for football? And, of course, being that it is the divisional round means that we are in the...
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
I can't believe that was actually a real thing.
Oh, I love that soundbite. And if you can watch the video, it's even more hilarious.
Oh, yeah, his eyes got all big. Oof.
Now, G-Man, I don't know if you can hear us or if we can hear you. It looks like you're working on it. Give us a thumb.
You look great, Grady. It is great to see you.
Give us a thumbs up if you can at least hear us. No, maybe not even there. So while Grady's working through those, and you know, it's Zoom. There's technical issues. It's one of those things. But
Zoom. At least there's not a wang dangle appearing. So we're
exactly.
Good.
And it looks like he's got a Bluetooth headset, which is always adds that little extra layer of you know, tech difficulty. But G-Man, if you can hear me, maybe a plug-in headset earbuds with inline mic might work a little bit better. But in the meantime, we're going to start running down your picks for the divisional games. Now, The first game of the weekend on Saturday is the number 1 Packers versus the number 6 Rams. And of course, the Rams, who I was shocked last weekend ousted the Seahawks. I didn't see that coming. Was one of those things that I think we have G-Man back. Oh, no. He can hear us, but we can't hear him.
Can you hear us?
Oh.
You can hear us.
Yeah,
we can't hear you.
We
G,
can't hear you, though.
But you can hear us. We see you. We see your reactions. That was probably Chris's face yesterday.
Right.
Christian, sorry. Yeah, when we had to scrap the show.
So we're one step closer, but we'll keep talking Packers versus Rams now. G-Man set that up as Rams +7. Make sure to buy the hook versus the Packers.
Grady, all you got to do is just unmute your on the Zoom. Unmute your thing because you're muted. I could see.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, baby! Sorry, that was loud. I just saw the little red thing, and I'm like, damn, he's just muted. That's all.
Right when the show started, just to let everybody know what happened, all of a sudden the laptop was requiring me to restart to do an update.
It's the way it goes. It is the way it goes.
It's radio. It's our lives. It's what it does.
So catch me up.
So the good news is we can vamp a little bit. We did let everybody know that you're joining us for 2 segments. So, a few little technical difficulties. We still get a full dose of the G-Man. But we are talking about the very first matchup of the weekend, the Packers versus Rams, which you've set at Rams +7 by the hook versus the Packers. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, well, I tell you what. Simply on this one, I'm not a LA fan. Let me put that out there first. But the big thing is you got the three-peat going on. You got the Dodgers, the Lakers, and so people are saying, so if the Rams win it, it's a trifecta. So I don't necessarily think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but in this situation, of course, they've been playing surprisingly well. They went into Seattle and upset them. Green Bay is going to be a totally different beast because you have the cold weather, that you're going to be dealing with. But,
and Aaron Rodgers.
A touchdown, you're getting the points. And like I said, they're playing pretty well. And so this is more, instead of a numbers crunching thing, it's more of a hunch, that I think the Rams with that defense. Also, something that's really weird this year is teams coming off a bye for the duration of the year. You would expect them to win because they're rested and stuff like that, but they've been losing.
Yeah.
At least 50% of the time, if not more, during the course of the year. So. Playoffs, touchdown. You got a great defense, although Aaron Donald's a little bit hurt. I'm still taking the points, and like I said, by that hook. I just checked before we came on, and it has went down to 6.5. So people are taking the Rams, and as you know, I'm an in-play guy. So typically I'm going to wait, to get a little bit better number, during the course of the game. But if you have to bet before the game, I'd still take those points.
Yeah, and it's fair enough. It's a touchdown. You're buying that insurance with the hook. But, the Rams, you can't count them out. But, Jared Goff's playing with a little bit of a handicap. He just came off of a thumb surgery. As you mentioned, Aaron Donald's a little banged up. But they've got Jalen Ramsey on that side as well. But never count out Aaron Rodgers, especially at home. Because, this season he's looked fantastic.
So let me tell you a little thing that I found out about Aaron Rodgers. First of all, I don't know if you know it, but Sean O'Hare doesn't like Aaron Rodgers.
What?
But no, seriously, Aaron Rodgers has faced the number 1 defense 4 times in the NFL and during the playoffs. And guess what his record is?
0-4?
0-4?
0-4.
Interesting. And
so that's kind of like the last thing that I found out that made me feel a little bit warm and fuzzy about the points.
Yeah, when placing your bets, you got to look at history. It's one of those things that, he could buck that trend this season, but history has a good way of repeating itself, especially in the NFL.
You can't always go for the big name on there. I mean, like last week, eggs on, I'm pretty sure everybody's face with the Steelers-Browns. No one ever saw that. I never saw that come out. Did anybody?
Including me, that was my one big loss.
Yeah, dude, 28-0 in the first quarter, and I just did not see that coming from Browns Steelers. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And just to give people a little lesson about the in-play stuff, since we have some extra time this weekend, during the course of that game, I had the last thing that I needed, of course, was the Steelers. I had the Steelers -4.5. And after that, the hike happened, boom, they're down 7-0. When the interception happened, the Browns come down from plus 200 on the money line to even. When that first touchdown happened, they were even money to win the game, and then it was minus 145. I unloaded my entire account on the Browns to win the game because at that point I was going to lose, I don't know, it was like $200 something.
Right.
So instead of losing, I got my money back and actually made a little bit.
There you go.
So I was at the point to where if the Steelers would have won, I would have, won a couple $100. But if the Browns win, I get my money back and a little bit of money. And so there's that, I mean, who wants to risk it at that point? It's the last game. I was already up, so why would I give all the money back? So in play, that's a way to kind of sometimes hedge your bets.
It is. Now let's move on to the second matchup on Saturday. It's the number 2 Bills versus the number 5 Ravens, which, you would almost think that those seed numbers would be reversed, but, the Bills look really, really good. Now you've placed the Ravens at +3 again by the hook versus the Bills. How do you see that one playing out?
Yeah, this game, for those that got it early, it was +2.5. Now it's at 3. And, which means a little bit of the money before the games are kicked off, are starting to go on the Bills. But I think that's more to the New York factor, the market, so to speak. I think the lines makers, from what I've learned, they're going to sometimes initially put a line at who they think is, more money is going to be put on. So, for example, in NHL, the Las Vegas hockey team, is right there. When they started out, they were just going crazy. They were overinflating, the line. So I don't say this is overinflated. I mean, it's definitely 50-50. I mean, this is a toss-up game. But that being said, in a toss-up game, I kind of admittedly lean, towards taking the points, even if it's a field goal. Because, man, you'd be surprised how many times that, the other team does win, but it's by that 1 or 2. Now you got the 2-point conversion factor that sometimes teams go for, convert, field goal kickers are missing like never before. I mean, they got all these factors. And so, also, again, getting back to that, for some reason this year, when his team has had rests, Baltimore's defense, is a legitimate playoff defense,
Yeah, and it's funny.
Buffalo's been sketchy this year. They've been playing much better, on defense. But again, I just think the experience, factor also, with Harbaugh, and his staff. They've been to the playoffs many times. It's been a while since he's won a playoff game, which also would indicate that he's real hungry. And I just think maybe, the bright lights again of the playoffs. First thing out, I think the Bills are going to be a little bit nervous. The Ravens do have, one playoff win under their belt. Lamar Jackson, I mean, who wants to see him, in the playoffs? And of course, he stubbed his toe last year. But, hey, I'm picking the Ravens. The Bills, it's the first time that they've been to the playoffs at home, in a long, long time. So there's a lot of pomp and circumstance that's going to go around there. And I think the pressure is on the Bills, to win.
Absolutely.
I think so be that as it may, let's see what happens. If I hit those first two with the Rams and then the Ravens, on my tickets, man, I've because I have the Chiefs and then mixed and matched with the Saints and the Buccaneers on the last one. We'll win some money. So it's a pivotal Saturday. From a betting standpoint, for sure.
Well, and speaking of those matchups, what we're going to do is we're going to head to a break right now. And when we come back, G-Man's going to be joining us for the Sunday games. We'll go over those matchups and see how they play out. Folks, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke. When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Indeed. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, January 15th. Now we are smack dab in the middle of talking to the G-Man about his matchups for the divisional playoffs first round.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
So before the break, we talked about the Saturday lineups. Just to recap those, you've got the Rams +7 by the hook versus the Packers, and Ravens +3 by the hook versus the Bills. Now let's take a look at the Sunday matchups, where you've got the Chiefs -10 by the hook versus the Browns. This is a matchup nobody saw coming. How do you see that one playing out?
Well, I tell you, when I sent you the picks, this is for the first time ever. I'm actually going to flip on this one, Kristian.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I did a little bit more research, and now this is more, kind of from an angle. The Chiefs. Well, Andy Reid specifically, regardless of if he was with Philly or the Chiefs. He's only 6-5 in this spot after a bye week. Andy Reid is 6-5 against the spread.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's one factor. The other one is that when I'm looking at a line spread, one of the questions that I ask myself is that when the lines makers do make a number, especially anything over 7 points, and especially anything in double digits, it's kind of like I ask myself, who do they want the public to bet on? So in this situation, I think that they already know psychologically that people, when they come up to the window and they're looking for a team to bet on, if they have to guess between the two teams, they pick the favorite.
Exactly.
And so that combined with the fact that who do I think they want us to bet on, and I think it's the Chiefs. That's the easy, popular way, because they're 14-2, could have been 15-1, if they would have started their starters that last one. So
right,
defending Super Bowl champs. The Browns are the Browns. First the first playoff victory in 26 years, I think it was 26 years.
94.
Yeah. And so, I'm going to, I haven't done this all year, on the top three. I give you the top three and I stick with it.
Right.
But I'm going to flip this one. I'm going to take those points, 10 points. I'll go ahead and buy the hook on that. And, it's just a hunch. Just admittedly, it's a hunch. I know most people will probably want to bet on the Chiefs, and again, if you do, good luck. But as far as my picks and what I'm going to hang my hat on this week, if you give me permission as a commissioner, I'm going to go ahead and flip-flop the other way.
I'll give you permission, and the big money payout is when you bet on the underdog, and so this is one that you could fail miserably on this pick, or it could pay off really big. So you're changing that to the Browns plus 10, buying the hook, correct?
Yes, sir.
And
a huge thing if they are able to do that too. Whew.
And you don't think that Patrick, Mahomes has the Patrick price going for him in this one?
Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes for a second. Of course, phenomenal.
G-Man.
Yes.
Let's talk Patrick Mahomes here. I'd love to hear all about it. Go ahead and tell us. Yeah.
I can't.
Everybody knows about his capabilities and what a joy he is to watch. But the defenses catch up to people, and so basically the thing with him is just like with Brady, just like with most quarterbacks, he does his magic, when he's improvising, when he's scrambling and stuff like that. So one of the things that you need is to be able to generate pressure, from your front four and your front seven, through your blitz packages and stuff like that. And Cleveland's definitely capable. They have some soft spots. I think they get lazy, a little bit at time. But if you're in this spot in the playoffs and you're lazy one play, I mean, that's, what are you doing there? And so, that again combined with the fact, so, I think the defensive game plan, Browns obviously, are playing pretty good. You saw what they did to Pittsburgh. In spite of the fact that Roethlisberger threw for over 500 yards, think about that. The dude threw for over 500 yards, and he's on that short list of people who do that and lose the game.
Exactly. But they had a number of blunders between the interceptions and that terrible shotgun snap over his head, and for the scoop and score.
That gave me horror flashbacks of the Super Bowl against the Seahawks when they did that in the opening thing with Peyton.
The Broncos, yeah.
That still haunts me to this day when I see stuff like that. Woof.
Well, here's the other thing. If you're looking at history, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last season. A team repeating a Super Bowl win, let alone getting to the Super Bowl, is tough unless you were a Tom Brady Patriots team. It's almost nearly impossible. So, if you're looking for that upset, Browns might be the way to bet on this game.
Yeah, and not just that, just to finish off, again, defense wins championships, right? And so when you think about the Chiefs, of course, last year they were known for their offense, and rightfully so. But their defense is what really, the last 4 games of the regular season and leading into the playoffs, the defense came together, with the Tyrann Mathieu from the Cardinals. So they're not like that this year.
Exactly.
They lost to the Raiders at home for the first time forever. Later, Raiders lit them up that day. So they're definitely a little bit more vulnerable from a defensive standpoint. And that, of course, would equalize things with the Browns. And 10 points, you know what I mean? Yeah, even though I switch, like I said, I actually feel better, like as I sit here with the 10 points, with that warm fuzzy feeling than I do saying, okay, God, these guys have to win by 11 or more, which they're capable, you know what I mean? So I feel good about the switch.
Exactly. And then finally, let's move on to the final matchup of the weekend. You've got the number 2 Saints. You've got them at -3, again, by the hook, versus the number 5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How do you see that one going?
Good stuff.
Yeah, this one, of course, you see some memes, of course, with Brady and Breeze out there with the gray beards and stuff like that, you know. Got a couple matchups of 2 father times. So, you know, two good guys, you know. It's hard to root against either one, except for the fact that Brady's got 6 and Breeze has 1.
It's easy to root against Brady, though.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Brady also is, I think, when he's matched up against Breeze, he's 2-5, and one of the victories was like the last part of the game, if not the last play of the game, that they did, you know, in a regular season game when the Patriots and the Saints within, I think, the last 3 years or something like that, they had a game. So Brady has a losing record against them, against Breeze. They, so far this year, Brady's 0-2 as a Buccaneer against the Saints. The last one was a blowout, 35-3.
That's right.
So, you know, I think that the defenses, when you match them up together, I have to give the edge to the Saints. And so all things considered, I think the Saints are going to advance. This is the first time Tom Brady's been in the playoffs as a wild card. He's always going in as a division champ, you know, so he's never really had to deal with that arduous journey. It's tough, you know. I mean, you have an extra game, you know, as a wild card. Now the number 2 seeds actually have an extra game.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, I'd say this is one of those you match them up, especially now since I flipped. You know, I'm taking the points, and so on a 4-team ticket, if you've seen all of them laying points or all of them taking points, they hardly ever hit. You know, so when I had to choose this 4th one, that's where I said, okay, you know, it's normally 50-50, maybe one more, and so this is my spot where I'm going to go ahead and lay the points. And so that's literally the logic, you know, that I put into it. And it's just from experience. You know, I've seen a lot of tickets go past my face, you know, in 20 plus years, and ask myself what went wrong afterwards.
Well,
you know, so it is. It's like, seriously, it's a 3-point game, you know, which equates again to a toss-up. The Bucs could certainly win this game. It's hard to win 3 times in a year in a row. You know, it does happen. Seahawks just proved that last week. You know,
exactly.
They went into that 2-0 this year against the Rams, and then they lost.
Yep.
You know, so if it gets to the point to where, like I said, I got my first 3 down, I'm going to be flipping and rooting for the Bucs because I get 500 more bucks.
That's a great way to look at it. And then, you know, the Saints have the advantage, of course, of playing at home. So real quick to recap the weekend matchups, you've got the Rams +7 by the hook versus the Packers, Ravens +3 by the hook versus the Bills. G-Man just flipped the script on us, so he's taking the Browns +10 by the hook versus the Chiefs, and the Saints -3 by the hook versus the Bucs. G-Man's got a +500 record, so he's well worth listening to. As always, we love you joining us. We love talking football. Real quick, with just a few seconds, how can people find you online, G-Man?
Well, mostly the social media, in spite of, you know, all the stuff that's going on, you know what I mean? I still just check into Facebook, you know, so I have, you know, pages set up under the G-Man, Big Bongo Productions, and Seedless Tendency. Big Bongo, you know, we're starting to rustle the bushes a little bit and do some activities toward the video production of Rain, you know, ordering little costume stuff that's coming all the way from England, and just a little, how much time do I got, Kristian?
Just take 20 seconds.
Okay. So a little foreshadowing, we're working with the Solace Tree. These guys work with, you know, suicide prevention, specifically with adolescents. And that is the, you know, kind of the nature of the lyrics of the song, you know, has to do, you know, with not giving up, you know, and fighting through and stuff like that. And so anyway, that's what's going on. And we'll probably be working with Innovations High School. Of course, a local, you know, guy Tony Contini, on the directing and producing and all that good stuff that we've been doing these. So that's something that'll be coming up. And cross your fingers. I keep seeing more and more live productions, and we don't have anything, planned. But hopefully things will keep progressing with COVID. And so we'll be able to start getting back to some normalcy in life and seeing some live shows.
Exactly. I'm glad we took that extra 20 seconds because that is a wonderful cause. And of course, you can always find the G-Man on Parler. Oh, wait, no, never mind. In any case.
This guy.
Whoa! Roses!
Folks, that does it for G-Man's Matchups. We always love having you in here on Fridays, or at least online on Fridays. When we come back, it is time for This Day in History. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
See you.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. Can you believe it? It's not only the final segment of the day, it's also the final segment of the week here on the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, January 15th. Now, if you missed a portion of the show or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it is easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix radio show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts, whether it's Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, Doozer, Dozer, Geezer, Gozer.
Are you a god?
I screwed that up.
You hit it too.
underestimate my power.
Hit it too early, Tony.
My name's Anakin, and I'm a person. I just got a little jumpy on the button.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Well, folks, while you are there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review, let us know what you think, and tell your friends. Because why, Tony?
Sharing is caring.
And we do care. We care so much that we like to drop a little knowledge on you, hopefully make you laugh at the same time. It is time for This Day in History.
Traversing the globe for the stories that turn the world on its head. It's This Day in History with your correspondent on the beat,
Kristian Fenix.
All right, kicking off This Day in History in 588 BC, the Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon lay siege to Jerusalem under Zedekiah's reign. The siege lasted until July 23rd, 586 BC. So it was about 2 years long. And of course, the guys from the Matrix were there, Neo and Morpheus, and they flew their ship in the Nebuchadnezzar. And it's amazing that all of that took place so long ago.
Well, it's amazing that you can read that, man. That's Butcher said. That's Filippo Central.
I was lucky to make it through that one. That's for sure.
Yeah, it reminds me of somebody put in a here nor there. They screwed up my last name. They called me San Bippo, Sanbippo. San Bippo.
I'm gonna start calling you San Bippo. All right, moving on. This day in 1535, Henry VIII declares Henry VIII declares himself head of the Church of England. Ironically, heads are what he took of his former wives.
Fatality.
So you're saying he took getting head a whole new direction.
A whole different meaning.
Took the heads, because he took the heads.
You're right.
Jeez,
not in the good way. This day in 1759, the British Museum opens in Montague House, London. What were they showing in a museum in 1759? Like,
come on down to the museum. We have a ticket. You can see everything. Yours a cup of tea. See, there's a tea bag. Right there. That's kind of a piss poor British accent, I thought. It's a little bad.
Here's one that I could never really wrap my head around. This day in 1797, the first top hat is worn by John Etherington of London. Of course, that was a huge fad all the way through to Abraham Lincoln. I am so glad that has died because could you imagine people wearing top hats these days?
No, it'd be kind of funny, though. Hello! Not only am I wearing a top hat, but I have a mask. Keep 6 feet apart, please. Please.
Maybe
God,
that...
His wife or girlfriend in this picture looks brutal.
Yeah.
She looks like a Frumposaurus. Don't talk to me, that's not fat.
Speaking of Frumposaurus, moving on this day in 1846, Russian writer Dostoevsky, first novel Poor Folk is published in the St. Petersburg Collection Almanac, and he looks like every other Russian guy that we talk about from the mid-1800s.
Why does he look like he just got caught like taking a dump in the corner of the room? He looks like one of a dog that pees in the house or something, and you're like, no, bad dog, and you... Yeah, sorry, Poor Folk I publish at least for you. Yes, no? Okay, no big deal. Check out my beard.
Moving on this day in 1861, the steam elevator is patented by Elisha Otis. Obviously, if you've ever been in a Otis elevator, that's where it comes from. But again, I don't know if I'd want to be the first in a elevator. That's not really a tested technology.
No, he should have fixed Sheldon and Leonard's elevator on Big Bang.
Right.
It was broken the whole time. This guy, though, in the picture, he looks like he's got a little Debbie haircut. He's kind of got almost a girl name, and he's got a freaking beastie beard.
He's got a pretty respectable beard there.
Yeah, but not a haircut, though. Bro needs to work on that.
Let's move on. This day in...
He's dead. I guess it doesn't matter.
Let's move on. This day in 1870, the donkey is first used as the symbol of the Democratic Party in Harper's Weekly. I didn't have a donkey sound, so that was the closest thing.
I could just do an Elway for you. Broncos. Oh, we could just point in the Broncos, I guess. I don't know. Here nor there. The Donks.
This day in 1892, basketball rules are first published in Triangle magazine, written by James Naismith. It's hard to think that before that there really were no rules. And of course, now the rules are almost overdone where, you look at somebody the wrong way, they flop and it draws a
Flopping
foul.
is a great rule. Hey, touch me, hey, foul. You mean to tell me the little, 5'4" guy put your 6'9" ass on the floor? Yeah, please. What is this, the WWE?
Could be.
It could be.
This day in 1927, Tennessee Supreme Court overturns on a technicality John T. Scope's guilty verdict for teaching evolution, but the law itself remains in force, which is interesting that, you can still get in trouble for teaching evolution in this day and age.
See, it's evolution. See, when I started, my grandfather used to wear a big top hat. See, now I have a little over Redenbacher hat. Let me tip the cap to you. It's smaller. It's evolution.
This day in 1934, the New York Yankees slugger Babe Ruth, nearing the end of his illustrious career, signs a one-year contract worth $35,000, represents a pay cut of $17,000 for the Babe. And again, by today's numbers, that is nothing.
Nothing. Nope. He should have fired his agent. He could have got so much more.
We were talking football with the G-Man, and this day in 1939, the first NFL All-Star game at Wrigley Field in Chicago. New York Giants beat the All-American All-Stars 13-10. And it's strange that only one team was All-Stars and the other was just a regular team, the Giants.
Yeah, the All-Stars take on the Scrub Stars. It's All-Stars versus Scrubs tonight on Fox, followed by the Masked Football Player.
Shirts versus skins.
Oh, yeah. Can't say skins. It scares me.
This day in 1947, the brutalized corpse of Elizabeth Short, also known as the Black Dahlia, is found in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California.
Ooh.
Nothing to add.
Yikes. No, she just kind of, are you a god?
She kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit in that picture. But it's kind of bad because she was a victim. So
yeah.
I don't want to poke fun. Other than the picture, she looks like Gozer.
This day in 1961, Berry Gordy signs the Supremes with Motown Records. And of course, speaking of looking like Gozer, I don't know if you can see that picture, Tony.
No, it's funny. I was going to mention to you off air is sometimes we're on the same page, but not all the same stuff comes up because you'll pick some that are just not on.
Oh, really? That's really strange.
Most of them do, but some don't. So I'm just like, but that's one that doesn't, so I don't see it. I'll visually create it in my head.
And then finally, for this day in history, jumping way ahead, this day in 1987, champion the Boston Celtics. NBA forward Larry Bird is named Man of the Year by the Sporting News and Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press. First time one athlete gains both distinctions. And he was just a joy to watch.
Well earned on that.
Yep. And then finally, before we head into the weekend, let's run down some of today's holidays, where we talk about things going on today. All right. Boy, we don't have much time left. So today is National Humanitarian Day. Be a good human. It is National Bagel Day. Yummy.
Ooh, get yourself a bagel.
It is National Booch Day. Have no idea what that is.
What the hell is a booch? Let us know below.
National Fresh Squeezed Juice Day. I had some before we started the show.
I had manufactured juice.
It is National Hat Day. It is Wikipedia Day. Boy, words are hard at the end.
Wikipedia.
National Pothole Day. And then finally, National Strawberry Ice Cream Day. So, folks, we are headed into the weekend. Enjoy your weekend, but join us on Monday as we do Silly Rabbit. This bit is for kids. But you know what? Enjoy, relax. We'll see y'all on Monday.
Have a good weekend, y'all. Peace.